Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how the Omaha Beach scene from Steven Spielberg's 1998 Saving Private Ryan is realistic to the actual war because of its use of historical facts, sounds and graphics, along with camera movement. I will compare it to a similar scene from Ken Anakin's 1962 The Longest Day. A little background: that warrior is Private James Ryan. He is at Captain John Miller's grave, someone whom he owes his life. The scene takes us back to June 6, 1944. This brings me to my first point. One of Steven Spielberg's main priorities was to be as realistic and accurate as possible. The landing craft and the uniforms of the soldiers were modeled after the ones in World War II. The whole storyline is based off the Nyland brothers. 3 of the 4 brothers were killed all within a week. Frederick Nyland was the only one who remained. The government offered relief to families who had already lost men in battle by bringing the remaining ones home. Private Ryan is based off this brother. The behavior of the soldiers approaching the battle at Normandy also depicts the fear of the soldiers and the horror of the mission before them. One interesting fact that people don't know is the vomiting soldiers. The day before leaving, the soldiers were fed huge meals, like the meal an inmate would receive before being executed. The soldiers were vomiting from seasickness, not just nerves. Comparing this scene to The Longest Day, you can see the huge difference in the behavior of the soldiers as they approach land. The soldiers are calm, even as the ram drops and they are greeted with an onslaught of enemy fire. When it comes to sound, there is no question as to why Saving Private Ryan won 5 different Academy Awards. That, accompanied with graphics, shows exactly why this film shows realism. Spielberg paints a visual picture by adding an additional element: water. For what would seem like a safe place becomes a graveyard for many soldiers who die from carrying over 100 pounds of equipment. Although striving for perfection, Spielberg added flying bullets piercing the soldiers underwater. This defies Newton's first law of motion. The sound of shifting perspective of being underwater and above water creates another really interesting sense of reality for the audience. On land, the sounds of warfare and death are eminent. With the lack of a musical backtrack, the sounds of bullets and mortars take over the scene. The camera pulls in to Captain John Miller emerging from the water. Shell shock. The sound is almost fully canceled out as Miller looks around his surroundings of people cowering from gunfire, soldiers catching on fire, to a guy looking for his missing arm. Miller is brought back from a shell shock with a tea whistle as the audience is brought back to the current situation. The use of the split stereo surround sound creates the enemy and the side of yours truly. Throughout the scene, you can hear bullets traveling from right to left speaker. This creates so much realism for the audience, as if they feel like they're actually there. So this completely differs from The Longest Day, where Hollywood sound effects are used and the additional graphics is non-existent. Soldiers die by simply reaching for their stomachs and falling down. But I have to hand it to them. Special effects have come such a long way since this movie has come out. I guess it just shows that we just like seeing the gore and the blood to really show that realism. And my next and final point is camera movement. In Saving Private Ryan, the whole scene is shot with a handheld camera. The audience is playing a soldier in the war. In the shot, we are running up the beach towards the enemy. The camera is in motion with the characters. There is even a point where the camera turns to look at someone dying on the floor. In The Longest Day, the same shot of the soldiers running up the beach is done as a tracking shot. It is the perspective of someone watching the fight, rather than being in the fight. In conclusion, when compared to The Longest Day, Saving Private Ryan depicts the realism of war. From the acting to historical facts, sound and graphics, along with the camera movement, we have to thank Steven Spielberg for his attention to detail and making sure that we got not only just a fantastic film, but the realism of it as well.